The battlefield was silent, but the silence was wrong. Colonel Rither walked slowly through the wreckage of his army's camp. Smoke rose into the dark alien sky. Fires burned where massive war machines once stood proud. The smell of burned metal and blood hung heavy in the air. Rither's 4 golden eyes scanned the scene, rage building inside him. His clawed hands clenched into fists. This was not supposed to happen. His army was the most powerful in the sector. They had crushed dozens of species before. No enemy had ever been able to stand against them. And yet, here they were, defeated. Behind him, a group of alien soldiers whispered in fear. Their voices trembled as they spoke. "How could one human do this?" one soldier asked. Another hissed, "It's not possible. Humans are weak. They are animals." But none of them truly believed their own words anymore. Rither turned sharply. His voice was like a blade. "Silence," he growled. "We lost because you were careless. You let this creature trick you. But I will not." His mind went back to the moment it all began. Flashback, 2 days earlier. 2 days ago, victory had seemed certain. The planet Arcos, 7, a small human colony world, lay defenseless when Rither's fleet arrived. The humans fought bravely at first, but their weapons were primitive compared to alien technology. Within hours, the colony was destroyed. Almost every human was killed or captured. Among the prisoners was a lone soldier, Daniel Hayes. He stood out from the others. While the other humans cried, begged, or shouted, Daniel said nothing. He just stared at Rither with cold, unblinking eyes. When Daniel was dragged before him, Rither studied the human carefully. The man's face was dirty and bruised, his hands tied, but there was something unsettling about him. Something different. "You are their leader?" Rither asked, his voice mocking. Daniel didn't answer. He didn't even blink. Rither laughed, sharp and cruel. "Humans, you are all the same. Weak bodies, fragile minds. You fight like children playing at war. Soon, this planet will belong to us, and your kind will be nothing but slaves." Still, Daniel said nothing. Only his eyes spoke, and what they said made even Rither feel a brief chill. "Take him away," Rither ordered. "Lock him in the detention block. He is of no threat to us." That night, strange things began to happen. At first, it was small. A power generator failed for no reason. A patrol vanished during a routine sweep. An ammo storage unit caught fire, though no one had been near it. The aliens blamed technical faults and human prisoners, but nothing added up. Rither brushed it aside, confident there was no real danger. His forces were too strong, too well trained. One captured human couldn't possibly cause trouble. But then the sabotage grew worse. Entire communications networks went down. Weapons wouldn't fire when battleships tested them. The alien army began to panic. Soldiers argued, some even fought each other. Fear spread like a virus. Rither finally began to suspect the silent human. He visited the detention block himself. Daniel sat on the floor, chained, staring at the wall. When Rither entered, Daniel slowly turned his head and gave a small, almost invisible smile. "You," Rither hissed. "What are you doing? Tell me." Daniel's calm voice spoke for the first time. "You think you understand war," he said quietly. "You don't." Before Rither could react, alarms screamed through the base. Explosions shook the ground. The lights flickered and died. Rither spun around and shouted orders, his voice drowned by chaos. "Find the human. Find him now." But when he turned back, the cell door was open, and Daniel was gone. Present time, back to the wreckage. Rither stood among the ruins, his chest heaving with fury. In less than 2 days, a single human had destroyed everything he had built. His fleet, his army, his reputation, it was all in flames. He kicked over a broken alien weapon and snarled. "This is not over," he growled to himself. "He cannot hide forever." No creature defies me and lives. A trembling soldier approached him. Colonel, we found a message, the soldier said, holding out a small holographic device. It was left in the command center. Rither snatched it and activated the device. A hologram flickered to life, Daniel's face, calm and expressionless. You made a mistake, Daniel's voice said, low and cold. You thought humans were weak. You thought we would break. But you were wrong. The message ended. The device sparked and exploded in Rither's hand. The alien leader's scream of rage echoed through the ruined camp. As the smoke cleared, a distant explosion lit up the horizon. Somewhere out there, Daniel Hayes was still moving, still fighting, and still planning. Rither realized the truth at last. This war was far from over. And for the first time, he felt fear. The alien base was in chaos. Sirens wailed across the camp. Soldiers ran in every direction, shouting orders and panicking. Smoke and fire spread from several explosions. Communications were down, and no one knew who to trust. Colonel Rither stormed into the command center, his golden eyes burning with rage. Status report, he barked. A nervous officer stepped forward. Colonel, our supply lines are cut. The lower hangar is destroyed. 5 more patrols are missing, and we still have no contact with the outer perimeter. Rither's claws dug into the metal table. How is this possible? We are an army of thousands. One human cannot do this alone. The officer lowered his head. Perhaps there are more humans hiding in the hills. No. Rither slammed his fist on the table, making the room shake. There is only one. I have studied these creatures. They are impulsive, emotional, unorganized. They do not have the discipline for this kind of attack. But even as he spoke, a small seed of doubt grew inside him. He remembered Daniel Hayes, the silent prisoner with the cold, steady eyes. Could it really be him? Flashback, Daniel's past. Far away, hidden deep inside the alien base, Daniel moved silently through a dark maintenance tunnel. His breathing was calm and steady. His hands worked quickly as he set a small device onto a power cable. The device blinked green, then disappeared into the shadows. As he worked, his mind went back to the past. Daniel had once been part of an elite human unit, trained for deep infiltration and sabotage. They were called ghost operatives, soldiers who could disappear behind enemy lines and strike without warning. When the alien fleet first attacked Arcos 7, Daniel and his team were sent to protect the colony. But the aliens were far stronger than expected. One by one, his comrades fell in battle until only Daniel remained. He had watched his friends die. He had seen the civilians slaughtered. And in that moment, he made a promise. The aliens will pay. Captured, chained, and mocked, he stayed silent and waited for his chance. The aliens believed he was broken. They thought humans were simple creatures. That was their mistake. Back in the present, Daniel's plan. Daniel moved like a shadow through the camp. He had stolen an alien wrist device, which allowed him to open doors and access restricted areas. Everywhere he went, he planted explosives, hacked systems, and left behind chaos. His strategy was simple but deadly. Cut off communication so the aliens couldn't coordinate. Destroy supplies to weaken their forces. Turn the soldiers against each other using fake orders. Strike the command center last, leaving no chance for escape. He knew the alien army was powerful, but he also knew their weakness, pride. They believed they were invincible. Daniel would use that pride against them. Meanwhile, Rither investigates. Rither paced back and forth inside the command center. His mind raced as reports of sabotage continued to pour in. A guard entered, bowing nervously. "Colonel, another incident." 2 patrol units opened fire on each other. They believed the other side had betrayed them. Rither's eyes widened. "No," he whispered. "This is not random. Someone is guiding this chaos." Suddenly, he realized the truth. "It's the human," he growled. "He has been playing us all along." Rither turned to his officers. "Seal every tunnel. Lock down the detention block. No one leaves this base alive." An officer hesitated. "Colonel, the human prisoner is gone." The room went silent. Rither's claws scraped the table as he roared in fury. "Find him." Daniel's move. From a high perch overlooking the alien base, Daniel watched as soldiers scrambled below. He spoke softly into a small human transmitter he had kept hidden since his capture. "This is Ghost One. Operation Torchlight is a go." The device crackled. There was no response, no one left to answer. Daniel swallowed hard, forcing himself to stay focused. His team was gone, but the mission wasn't over. He activated a series of explosives. Across the base, fireballs erupted into the sky. Alien ships burned in their landing bays. Supply depots vanished in clouds of smoke and flame. The alien army fell into total panic. Some soldiers tried to fight the fires. Others fled. Many simply froze in terror. Daniel used the distraction to move closer to the command center. This was the heart of the alien operation. If he could take it down, the invasion would fail. The mini-climax. Rither stood on a balcony, watching his army collapse. He spotted a small figure moving through the smoke, a lone human, fast and determined. "There!" Rither shouted, pointing. "That's him. Kill the human." Blaster fire lit up the night as alien soldiers opened fire. Daniel sprinted, diving behind cover, returning fire with a stolen alien rifle. He moved with deadly precision, every shot counting. At the last second, he hurled a grenade toward the balcony. Rither leapt back as the explosion ripped through the platform, sending alien officers flying. When the smoke cleared, Daniel was gone again. Only silence remained. Ending scene. Rither's realization. Rither staggered to his feet, coughing. Half his army was destroyed. The base was in ruins. And still, the human lived. This is impossible," he muttered. A soldier approached, terrified. "Colonel, what do we do?" Rither's voice was cold and sharp. "We hunt him. We hunt him to the ends of this world." He stared into the distance, his anger burning hotter than ever. "This is no ordinary human. This is a demon wearing human skin." Far away, hidden in the shadows, Daniel watched the alien leader. His face showed no fear, only determination. The war was far from over, and the next strike would be his. The alien night sky glowed red with fire. The once mighty base was now a graveyard of broken machines and burning ships. From the command tower, Colonel Rither watched the destruction with cold fury. His army, thousands of soldiers, dozens of war machines, was collapsing. All because of one human. Rither slammed his claws against the balcony rail. "Enough," he snarled. "This ends tonight." He turned to his remaining officers, his voice sharp and commanding. "Send every soldier to the outer perimeter. The human will come for this tower. I want him trapped like an animal." The officers obeyed quickly, terrified of their leader's wrath. But inside, Rither was no longer confident. Daniel Hayes had been one step ahead at every turn. If he failed to stop him now, the entire invasion would be lost. Daniel's perspective, planning the final strike. Hidden deep in the shadows of the wreckage, Daniel watched the alien soldiers move into position. He studied their patterns, their weak spots, and their traps. Everything was exactly as he expected. "They think they're setting a trap for me," he whispered to himself. "But they don't realize. I'm setting one for them." Daniel checked the alien rifle he had stolen earlier. The weapon felt strange in his hands, but he had learned how to use it well enough. He had only a handful of charges left, each shot would have to count. Strapped to his chest were 2 final explosives, powerful enough to destroy the command tower completely. He knew this was his last mission. There would be no escape. He took a deep breath, remembering the faces of his fallen team. "This is for you," he said quietly, then moved silently toward the tower. The trap is set. Inside the tower, Rither prepared his own plan. He stood before a holographic map of the base, showing every squad's position. "Hold your fire until I give the signal," he ordered. "When the human enters the kill zone, we strike with everything we have." An officer hesitated. "Colonel, what if he doesn't come?" Rither turned slowly, his eyes glowing with rage. "He will come," he growled. "Humans are predictable. They always rush to save their people. He believes he can destroy us. He will not resist this final chance." But even as he said the words, a small voice in the back of his mind whispered, "What if you are wrong again?" Daniel's infiltration. Daniel crawled through a narrow ventilation shaft, his movements silent and precise. Through the grate below, he saw alien soldiers waiting in ambush. Laser rifles ready. Traps set. He almost smiled. "They still don't get it," he thought. "They're playing defense while I'm already inside." Moving carefully, Daniel bypassed the main kill zone and dropped silently into a storage room near the tower's core. From here, he could strike at the heart of the alien command. As he crept through the hallways, he planted small charges, cutting off escape routes and sealing doors behind him. The aliens wouldn't just lose this battle, they would be buried with their own base. The confrontation begins. Rither stood in the central chamber of the tower when the first explosion shook the ground. "What was that?" an officer shouted. Before anyone could respond, a second explosion rocked the building, cutting the lights. Red emergency alarms flashed. Then a calm, human voice echoed through the darkness. "Looking for me?" The aliens spun around, weapons raised, but they saw nothing. Panic spread through their ranks. Rither roared, "Show yourself, human!" From the shadows, Daniel stepped into the dim red light. His uniform was torn, his face smeared with ash, but his eyes were sharp and focused. "It's over," Daniel said coldly. "Your army is broken. Your invasion is finished." Rither bared his teeth. "No, human. You are finished. You have caused enough trouble. Now, I will crush you myself." With a guttural roar, Rither charged. Daniel rolled to the side, firing his stolen rifle. The shot sparked against Rither's armored hide but barely slowed him down. The two clashed in a brutal fight. Daniel moved fast, using his smaller size to his advantage. Rither swung his massive claws, smashing walls and tearing through metal. Each strike from the alien leader was powerful enough to kill, but Daniel was always a step ahead, dodging, striking, retreating. The twist: reinforcements arrive. Finally, Daniel managed to leap back and aim his rifle directly at Rither's chest. The alien leader froze, his breathing heavy. "It's done," Daniel said, his voice steady. "Your war ends here." But before he could pull the trigger, a loud, deep rumble shook the tower. Both fighters paused, looking up. Outside, through the shattered windows, massive shadows appeared in the sky. Dozens of alien ships descended, their lights cutting through the smoke. "No," Daniel whispered. "Reinforcements." Rither's laughter filled the chamber. "You see, human? You are clever, yes, but you are only one. We are many." Daniel's jaw tightened. He glanced at the explosives strapped to his chest. The mission wasn't over. Not yet. Cliffhanger ending. Rither lunged again, but this time Daniel didn't dodge. He grabbed one of the alien's massive arms and pulled himself close, his voice low and deadly. "Fragile doesn't mean weak," Daniel whispered. Then he slammed a detonator into Rither's armor and dove backward as the first charge exploded. The tower began to collapse, metal beams snapping and flames consuming the upper levels. As the screen fades to black, the sound of alien reinforcements arriving grows louder. Daniel's final battle has just begun. The command tower shook violently as explosions ripped through its core. Metal beams fell like rain. Fires spread across every level. Outside, alien reinforcements descended from the night sky, their massive ships blocking out the stars. Colonel Rither staggered through the smoke, wounded but furious. His golden eyes glared at the collapsing structure. "You think this will stop me, human?" he roared. "Our reinforcements are here. You are alone. You cannot win." Across the ruined chamber, Daniel Hayes rose slowly to his feet. His uniform was torn to shreds, his face smeared with blood and ash. He was breathing hard, but his eyes were calm and unshaken. Daniel glanced upward at the alien fleet filling the sky. There were too many ships, too many soldiers. A direct fight was impossible. But Daniel hadn't come here to fight them all. He had come to end it. Daniel's final plan. Daniel's hand brushed over the last explosive device strapped to his chest. The charge was powerful enough to destroy the entire tower and the alien reinforcements above it, if he triggered it at the right moment. He knew there was no escape. If he stayed, he would die. If he ran, humanity would fall. There was never a choice to make. His voice was steady as he spoke, almost to himself. "One man against an empire," he murmured. "Let's see how far that can go." He tapped his communicator, sending a single coded signal to any surviving human forces nearby. The message was simple: target eliminated. Arcos, 7 will be safe. There was no response. Daniel didn't expect one. His friends, his team, they were all gone. But now, at least, their deaths would mean something. The battle continues. Rither snarled, dragging himself to his feet. "You cannot stop us, human," he spat. "You are only one fragile creature. Your world will burn, just like this one." Daniel gave him a cold, steady look. "Fragile doesn't mean weak," he replied, repeating the words he had said before. "It just means we don't give up." With that, Daniel charged forward. The two enemies collided in a final, brutal fight. Rither's massive claws slashed through walls and wreckage, each strike shaking the room. Daniel dodged, rolled, and struck with precision, using every ounce of strength he had left. But this time, Rither was desperate. His strikes grew faster, more savage. Finally, one blow connected, sending Daniel crashing into a pile of debris. Blood filled Daniel's mouth as he struggled to rise. Rither loomed over him, ready to deliver the killing blow. "Your kind will kneel before me," Rither growled. "And you will die knowing you failed." The turning point. Daniel looked past Rither, through a shattered window. Above them, the alien fleet was moving into position, preparing to land. Dozens of ships hung directly over the tower, perfectly lined up. And that's when Daniel realized, this was it. His final chance. A faint smile touched his lips. "No," he whispered. "I didn't fail. You did." Before Rither could react, Daniel pulled the detonator from his vest and slammed his thumb down on the trigger. The sacrifice. The explosives roared to life with a deep, rumbling boom. The entire tower began to collapse, flames shooting into the night sky. The shockwaves surged upward, catching the descending alien ships in a chain reaction of destruction. One by one, the massive vessels exploded, turning the night into day. Fire rained from the heavens as alien soldiers screamed in terror. Rither froze, his eyes wide in disbelief. "No, this cannot be," he howled. Daniel, barely standing, stared at him with calm, unflinching eyes. "You underestimated us," he said. "You thought we were weak. But you forgot something important." He took one last breath, his voice steady despite the pain. "Humans fight, not just to win, but so others can live." The final explosion consumed them both. Aftermath. Hours later, silence returned to the battlefield. The alien fleet was gone, reduced to burning wreckage scattered across the planet's surface. The once mighty base was now only a crater. From the horizon, human rescue ships arrived, cautiously scanning the area. Soldiers in clean uniforms moved through the ruins, searching for survivors. One of them, a young officer, bent down and picked something up from the ash. It was a simple metal dog tag, its surface blackened by fire. The name was still visible: Daniel Hayes. The officer held it tightly, realizing what had happened here. "One man," he whispered. "One man did all of this." Another soldier approached, looking around at the devastation. "Where's the enemy?" she asked. The officer shook his head slowly. "There is no enemy left. Only a story, and a warning." He placed the dog tag carefully into a small case. "Let the galaxy remember this," he said. "The cost was everything, but he saved us all." Final scene. As the rescue ships lifted off, the camera pans across the ruins. Among the smoke and fire, a single human boot print remains, half buried in the ash. It is the only sign Daniel was ever there. The screen fades to black. A final line of text appears. "Never underestimate a human."